Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Today, we are reviewing the Colourpop X Raw Beauty Kristi at Forest Sight palette, as well as the entire Raw Beauty Kristi X Colourpop collection. I do have the entire PR bundle here, so we're gonna go over everything. We're gonna swatch everything. We're just gonna have a really fun time playing in Raw Beauty Kristi's ideas and her creative talent, and I'm so excited. So if you'd like to see what this collection looks like, how everything swatches, how it performs, and what my initial first impressions are, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Okay guys, first things first, we have 4 different SKUs for this launch. We have the cream gel liners, 3 of them. We have 4 Super Shock shadows, 2 Luxe lip glosses, as well as the At Forest Sight palette. This name is just so cute. At Forest Sight, like it was love at first sight. It was love at Forest Sight. Love a good pun. It's adorable. Now this whole collection was $82. That was everything all together just in one big old bundle. And I believe that saves you $5, so not a whole lot of savings by getting the bundle, but it does get you everything. So it was convenient to get it for sure. Now before I go into swatching the actual palette, I want to go ahead and swatch the Super Shock shadows and the cream gel liners for you guys. And sort of for myself, because I'd like to know what colors they are before I go in with my eyeshadow look, so I know which ones I might want to use. Now these 3 liners are the Into the Woods liner trio. The trio is $21. I think that saves you $3 because I'm pretty sure they're $8 a piece. But you can also get the palette and the 3 liners together for $41. Or you can get them individually, of course, for $7 each. Now here's the outside of the unit carton. This is so adorable. There's cute little mushrooms and leaves and flowers, and it's just so cute. It's so Pacific Northwest. It's so Raw Beauty Kristi. It's so Washington. So here's our first pencil. This one is in the shade Marigold, I believe. We also have the little mushrooms on the cap. I just love this packaging so much. And there's a swatch of the shade Marigold. Then we have this forest green color, and it's named Spare Time, like the plant time, not the hour time. And there is the swatch of the shade Spare Time. And the last cream gel liner is this dark warmer brown in the shade Woodsy. And there's the swatch for the shade Woodsy, a beautiful dark brown. Next we have the Super Shock Shadow unit cartons. The unit cartons are all the same, so I'm just going to show you one, just like I did with the pencils, and move on. It again has the mushrooms all over it, but it has this little tree on the side with mushrooms growing on it, and all the little mushrooms flying on the back, and some flowers, and it's just so cute. It's so adorable. I love it. And it looks like this time they chose green components instead of the white ones. Perfect for the theme. So this is the shade Mycelium. There's the shade Mycelium. Wow, it's so soft and creamy. Then this is the shade Like a Moss. Like a Moss. Wow. Then the shade Campfire, and there's the swatch of the shade Campfire. Wow. And last is the shade Olympic, and here's the swatch of the shade Olympic. Wow, oh my gosh. Woo! Here's all the swatches from more of a real life aspect rather than studio lighting. That's the shade Mycelium at the front, then Like a Moss, second, third, Campfire, and last, Olympic. Now you can also get those Super Shocks in a bundle as well. You can get all 4 for $28, or you can also get them individually for $7 each as well. Luckily, they're the exact same pricing as the cream gel liner, so if you can afford a liner, you can afford a Super Shock. Now with all of those swatched, let's look at the At Forest Sight eyeshadow palette. This palette is $20 by itself, and let me show you this packaging close up. So here is the fantastical fantasy of a unit carton that the palette comes in. We have At Foresight on the front, Raw Beauty Kristi X Colourpop on the bottom. All the mushrooms are, they look drawn on and they're embossed a little bit, so they have that shine to them. The trees look like they're watercolored in the background. This is just so beautiful. Then if we flip it over, it has all the shade names as well as the forest again in watercolor with the mushrooms and the ferns, and it's such an inviting layout and theme. I love it so much. Then let's flip it back over and open it. Are you guys ready? I'm not ready. Okay, so here's the palette. Looks exactly the same as the unit carton. It has the At Foresight on the front, Raw Beauty Kristi X Colourpop, as it should be. Then on the back, the shade names in the forest again. And then if we open it, take out the protective sheet, and here we have the At Foresight eyeshadow palette. Yep, it's beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in so that we can get started on swatches. The first shade is the shade Puffball. Then the shade is Chanterelle. Rainier. Old Growth. Evergreen. West Coast. Homegrown. Amanta. Fiddlehead. Emerald City. PNW or Pacific Northwest. And then the shade Let It Rain. Okay, and with that, that is every single shade from the Colourpop x Raw Beauty Kristi At Foresight eyeshadow palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And here's our video close-up of every single swatch. The swatches of this palette are absolutely beautiful. Obviously, this is a very different day, a very different vibe for me. You know, sometimes whenever you're a makeup lover or a makeup wearer, there are days whenever you use a new eyeshadow palette and you go to start using it and just what you thought was gonna happen didn't really happen, and then things are not going the way you planned or looking good at all. That's how that other day that you just watched was. So I decided that I was just gonna take off what I had, stop, refresh, reset, and start again. So here we are today to start again. It's been like a week probably, and I didn't have any bad experience. Like, the quality was there. It's just the color story and the color story that I was using really wasn't working for me. The shade Rainier is so much darker than what I thought it was. Now I'm gonna show you a little clip from the end result of where I got before I took it off, just so you can see kind of the look and the vibe that I did have going on, but I'm moving on from that. I'm not sticking with that. I want to do something different. That was just not working for me. So today I have gone ahead and primed my eyes with my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair. And now let's create just a happy little look, shall we? This is gonna be so good. I'm so excited. I know it's gonna be perfect the whole time. I can't wait. So I'm gonna start by using this Morphe Fluffy blending brush. It's one of the fluffy brushes from the Hit the Lights collection, and I'm gonna go into the shade Puffball. And this is essentially going to be acting as my transition shade. It's sort of going to be my all over color. This is that perfect grungy, mustardy kind of tone. It reminds me a lot of the Melt Cosmetics 420 palette. If you haven't seen that review, I'll leave it linked up here so you can see the shades that are in this palette. That is a gorgeous palette. And it's full of tones like this. And I am getting just a little bit of fallout on the face. It's not a big deal. Obviously, I'm doing my eyes before the rest of my makeup, so I'm not too worried about that. I also don't tap off any of the excess from my brush so that I can just pack on pigment like crazy. I find that I get the most pigmentation the fastest like that, which does make sense. Wow, it's just so insane how deep these shades are. They are very dark though. Now that I've got the soft ochre shade added in, I feel like that's like the Crayola name for this color. Anyway, now that I've got that filled up in the crease as it is, I'm gonna now go in with the Morphe M456 brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Old Growth. And this shade is gonna be applied more toward my inner corner area. This looks kind of like a soft peach, like a rosy, dusty, soft peach. So I'm gonna use this kind of as my inner corner lightened tone, not necessarily highlight, but just a lighter tone. Again, that seems so much darker on the eye than it does in the pan. Maybe I'm just crazy. Well, I know I'm just crazy, but maybe that's why it seems like that. And I'm just gonna keep this pretty precise and rounded going into Puffball and just blend them in together because I am gonna blend out the edges still with another shade. So I think I'm on the right track now for some look. As always, I have no clue what I'm really going for. I'm just kind of playing and seeing where it takes me. That is something I noticed with this palette though, is that it's very versatile in a way that makes it fun to experiment with because there's so many different routes you can take color story wise. Now is the time to blend like there's no tomorrow. I'm gonna use the Morphe X Jeffree Star JS12 brush. It is a very teeny tiny detail blender brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Chanterelle. And with Chanterelle, she is going to be my blending shade. She's what I'm going to use to blend out both of these shades on the inner corner and the outer corner. But first, before I actually start doing any blending, I'm just going to start packing on color. And I am doing so half on the color that's already been applied and half off. So like pat, 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 pat. Just like that. And I'm going to do that all the way around before I start blending anything. Okay, there we go. So now I have a line of yellow all the way around. So at this point, I'm gonna take just the same brush that I've been using and just start going in tiny little circular motions. And this is probably irrelevant to a lot of you. I don't know, it's just my thing. Whenever I work on one eye, I always use the circular motions in rotation of the direction of the eye so that I get kind of an outward flow. And then whenever I go on the next side, I do it the opposite direction, so counterclockwise instead of blending clockwise. I just find that when I do that, I end up with a more symmetrical blend between the eyes, and it's something that helps me, so thought I'd share. Now that I've got what looks like mustard all over my eyes, I'm gonna try to warm things up as well as deepen things a little bit. So I'm gonna use this really fluffy Profusion brush. It's just a short little cute brush. And now I'm gonna go into the shade Rainier. This shade is the shade that I had so much trouble with the first time I went in with this palette because I started with this shade and I didn't realize it was so dark. You know, usually with the Colourpop palettes, or at least the ones I've used recently, they're typically organized like all other palettes. Light to dark, top left to bottom right. That's kind of just the norm. This is not organized that way, or at least it doesn't seem like it to me. And I obviously cannot use it in that way either. I don't know for sure if Rainier is even going to go on top of Puffball and work, but I'm gonna try it just to see. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything. Worst case, I do have another shade I can still go in with to deepen things up. Okay, this is definitely not working. All this is doing, well, I guess it is deepening slightly, like just barely. It's more so adding a really warm red tone. Well, it is deepening. Okay, I'm just gonna keep doing it. It's fine. We're fine. It's fine. We're going. We're good. I'm also gonna start pulling this in just a little bit on top of the more peachy shade, the Old Growth shade, to sort of start warming up and deepening that part of the look as well. Okay, I've got that all blended out now, and I've gotta say, the shade Rainier and Puffball mixed together is the perfect complementary tone to Old Growth, because Old Growth has that like mustardy, warm, peachy grossness to it. And Rainier has that orange undertone, and Puffball is also like a mustardy kind of tone, so it really warms it up, as you can see, and it just kind of made it where the inner corner and the outer corner work well together. It's miraculous, I know. I think I just discovered the color story that's gonna make this extra beautiful. So I am in fact gonna go into the shade West Coast. I'm gonna use the Morphe X Madison Beer, this brush. It's a flat packing brush with a little bit of a fluffy end to it. I'm gonna see if I can pick up West Coast with this. I might have to use a flatter brush, but we'll see. Oh no, that picks up really well. Okay, and this shade's gonna go right on the inner corner first. Oh wow. Oh, I wish you could see what I see. No, but you can see like the yellow reflect that's there. It's so much more sunshiny in person. It's very dramatic in person. I like it. Now for the next part, I'm gonna go in with the Morphe flat brush, again from the Hit the Light brush set, and I'm gonna go into the Super Shock shadow called Campfire. This is the really warm, fiery orange, like a campfire would be, but it also has silver and yellow reflex in it. So it's very unique, very fiery, if you will. Picks up pretty well on a dense flat brush, like a dense packing brush. And this is gonna go right on the outer corner of the eye look. That's not the greatest. So I'm just gonna take my pinky into this Super Shock shade. Oh, that is what I want. And I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna pull it all the way toward the middle of my lid. And that's it for the first part of the eyeshadow. I've done everything that I need to do on the crease portion. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, do all of my face makeup, and then come back so that we can finish off the lower lash line, the brow bone, the inner corner highlight, and play with a little bit of eyeliner. So I will see you guys in just a second. Now that my face is completely covered in spackle, let's move on to the lower lash line. So I'm gonna start with this 3 Ojitos brush from Cosmetics. It is the flat brush, in case you could not tell. And I'm gonna go into the shade Emerald City. And I am just gonna start patting this shade on right along my lower lash line. Just like that. There we go. Now I got it all applied and I have these very fine green lines under my eyes. Now it's time to go in with the Vintage Cosmetics Company Step 1 for the Money brush. And I'm gonna go back in to the shade Chanterelle. That's really cool. It's so dingy and like I love it. Yellow is applied and blended out, and now it's time for some eyeliner. And I'm gonna use 2 eyeliners. We're just gonna go crazy today. First, I'm gonna throw the Marigold shade in the waterline. I feel like that's just gonna work very appropriately with this look. 3 swipes. Well, like more like 2.5. 2.5 swipes. Bold, pigment, solid, opaque color. So now I'm gonna use the Woozy shade on my lash line, and only my lash line. And then what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna use this really sharp point that it has. I just wanna smudge it out, but I do wanna get a really nice clean line at first on my lash line. And now last but absolutely not least, I'm going to take the Morphe M431 crease brush / inner corner highlight brush, as well as the Morphe 35XO flat brush, and I'm going to use the Super Shock shade Olympic. And this is going to be my inner corner highlight and my brow bone highlight. It's gorgeous! Oh! Now the eyeshadow is completely done. So the last product we have to use is the Luxe Gloss. But before I move on to lips, I am gonna go ahead and go off camera, get some mascara on these lashes, make sure they are curled and up to par with these standards of the Colourpop Raw Beauty Kristi palette. And I'm also gonna go in with my Colourpop lippy pencil, just get a nice little line around the lip to get ready for some gloss. This is in the shade Another Round, just a soft pinky nude that'll give me a nice clean border. And I'm gonna do all of that off camera and I'll be right back to try these out. See you guys in just a second. Mascara is applied and lip liner is on. I went a little heavy with the lip liner, so it's more like a lipstick lip liner rather than just a lip liner now. But that's okay, we'll be fine because we have two different shades we can choose from. Let's see, we've got Wildflower and Glacier. Ooh, the components have the green lids just like the Super Shock shadows. One of these is more pinky toned, it looks like, and that's the shade Wallflower. And it's a pinky peach with some yellow, silver, and I want to say white pieces of glitter. It's kind of hard to tell. But regardless, you mainly get a pinky peach shimmery shade. I'm sure it's going to be so sheer that you're not really going to be able to tell the tint and glitter anyway. Now this one, the shade Glacier, this is, it looks like kind of a champagne clear, but it has a lot of yellow, white, and slightly green hued glitters. I wonder if there's enough glitter in there that that one would show up because it looks very glittery in the tube. Oh yeah, it's also very glittery on the swatch as well. Okay, there's the two shades. You can at least see the tones, just not the glitter. And that's okay because this decision is already pretty easy because the lip liner I went in with being another round, look at this shade of gloss next to this lip liner. It's like perfect. So naturally, I have to go in with the shade Wildflower. And that's what's gonna be on my lips. And if you have not tried these Luxe Glosses, you're missing out. And there we have it with the shade Wildflower. I think it's a perfect fit for this look and it makes my lips look so juicy. And it's not even a So Juicy lip gloss, imagine that. I didn't even think about that being the name of the other glosses, that's funny. Okay guys, this is it. This is the entire look using the Colourpop X Raw Beauty Kristi collection. I think this look this time turned out so well. It's so gorgeous. It's dingy and grungy and disgusting, but like really beautiful and pretty. It is very much so the epitome of the Pacific Northwest, no doubt. Albeit, I did have quite a bit of trouble the first time using the palette, but there's really no telling if that was just me and my choice of color story or I don't know. Based on the fact I didn't have a problem with it the second time at all, I'm just gonna chalk it up to the fact that it just wasn't a good day for me to play with this palette. But before I give you the true breakdown of the palette and my recommendation, let's talk about the parts of the collection that I got. First and foremost, the Luxe Glosses. I personally like collecting these glosses because I do like the formula. These are my throw in my bag glosses. Because they are such a comfortable formula on the lips, they're a really nice everyday formula. I don't think it's necessary per se to have both shades. If you're drawn to one of them, then definitely just get one. I do like getting the bundles though because I feel like I'm saving a little bit of money. Now, if I were to just buy one of these and I didn't happen to buy both, it would have been the Glacier shade. I'm such a sucker for these like champagne-y glittery shades. I feel like if I'm gonna get a clear gloss, I want it to have some extra oomph to it because I have a ton of clear glosses already. If I'm gonna have another clear gloss that I accidentally buy over and over again, like the So Juicy in the shade Princess Cut, then I want to add glitter to it because you guys know my problem with accidentally buying extra clear glosses. This is another. If we move on to the Super Shock shadows, I'm a collector sort of thing. I love the Super Shock formula. I love it to drop it, and I love it for the ease of use with using your finger. I know that there are a lot of people that don't like using their finger in shadows, and I will say that if you are one of those people, I wouldn't get these. I wouldn't recommend them. They are hard to use with a brush if you're going with the shimmery, more creamy formulas. Now, if you get any of the matte Super Shocks, there are a few Super Shocks that are more on the matte side. They aren't quite as temperamental with using brushes in them, but these just function like really soft shimmer shades. So, you know, taking a flat brush, running over the top of it's gonna flatten it out. It's gonna make it hard to pick up. If you do pick it up, it's gonna be chunky because you're having to dig into it. So it's a double-edged sword. You know, it's a gorgeous finish. It looks so beautiful, like gut-wrenchingly, heartbreakingly beautiful. It's kind of a mess to work with sometimes. So take that for what you will. I love them. I recommend them. Now, the cream gel eyeliners. Yet again, I'm a collector. I think it's just mainly Colourpop that I'm a collector of because it's such good quality for such affordable pricing. The cream gel liners, I've always loved this formula. They are one of the longest lasting gel liner formulas I've used. They compare to the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On eye pencils, except they are retractable. The only thing I don't like about these is they do break kind of easily if you accidentally twist them up too far. A lot of the times they're already broken inside the pencil, and if you turn it upside down, the eyeliner will fall out. It's kind of the only thing I don't like about it, but $8, you know, and the Urban Decay ones are $22. That's huge difference. And then the big mama, the At Forest Sight eyeshadow palette. This palette kind of surprised me. It's a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be, and based on the pictures, it looked a lot lighter even than what it goes on the eyes. I personally am more of a bright and light tone kind of guy. I would much rather have tones like that and then deepen them accordingly. It fits within the theme very well. It fits Raw Beauty Kristi very well because of the whole Pacific Northwest vibe. It's very fitting and the quality is there. 10 out of 10 recommendable Colourpop quality. You just have to know beforehand going into it that the color story is a little deeper. And with that, that is closing the lid on another palette review here on my channel. Please let me know what you guys think about this look and about this whole collection. Do you guys like the glosses, the super shocks, the eyeliners, or the palette the most? I am curious as to which part of Colourpop, what SKU, what product from them is your favorite. Is it their eyeshadows or the liners, or is it something that I don't even have here, like their blushes or their super shock cheeks or etc, etc. What is your favorite product from Colourpop? Let me know down in the comments. You guys know the drill. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk, if you will. P.S. If you did enjoy this video, it'd be really cool if you wanted to give me a thumbs up, you know, just to let me know that you liked the video. Just let me know that you support me as a creator and an artist who quit filming this video like a week ago and then picked up where I left off for you guys. Well, and for me. So if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and to never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.